He nearly died, and after that, he wasn't in his right mind. He had to stop working, couldn't work for 2 or 3 years, and got so thin he was barely recognizable. After a few years, he went back to his line of work, but not long after, it seems he once again had another episode like that, and then he sadly, quietly, and peacefully passed away. Their colleagues and neighbors genuinely believe that these unusual things, which they themselves have personally experienced and encountered in their own lives, are real. So in this field, in this place, ghosts and spirits live among us humans. The way ghosts live is pretty similar to us humans. Ghosts have their own cities too, but we just can't see them. Their world overlaps with ours, like 2 different channels. 2 different frequencies overlapping, so even if we say we've seen it with our own eyes or heard it with our own ears, how can we be so sure about what's really going on? If you experience it yourself, you need to stay alert. You need to understand. Buddha Kamma taught us to respect ghosts, keep a distance. Ghosts and spirits exist. Show respect. What does distance mean? It means not following their ways. It's the same principle as Samantabhadra's vow to stay away from non-Buddhist teachings. Confucius, when it came to ghosts, spirits, or unorthodox paths, never lost his sense of respect. Avoiding non-Buddhist teachings, Master did it. So we must show respect towards these things. We must treat ghosts and spirits properly, in accordance with the teachings. The Buddha explained much to us in the scriptures, and we understand this. Confucian writes, if ghosts and spirits can truly be at peace, it's very closely related to the order or even the chaos in our world. But if these ghosts and spirits aren't at peace, they can also sometimes cause trouble and even affect our society in different ways. Many of these disasters and strange events just happen out of nowhere. When we say they happen for no reason, it's actually the ghosts and spirits causing trouble. We need to understand this principle. In Buddhism, when Buddhist monks live in the mountains and wish to build a small, simple thatched hut for themselves, of course they use whatever materials are available locally. So, naturally, they have to cut down and gather some trees in the area. The Buddha said that once a tree grows taller than a person, according to tradition, there will be a tree spirit residing in it. So, what exactly is a tree spirit? It's a ghost or spirit that attaches itself to the tree because it has nowhere else to live, so it takes shelter there from the wind and rain. When a ghost or spirit inhabits a tree, we call it a tree spirit. So, if we want to cut down that tree, in other words, We are taking away its home. Do you think it'll be happy about that? If it's not willing to let go and harbors evil thoughts, it'll come looking for trouble, seeking revenge, and making things difficult for you. You won't feel at ease living in this house. But if you have great fortune, there's nothing it can do. It wouldn't dare to mess with you. When your luck turns bad, it comes looking for trouble and waits for the moment. When you're doing well, it won't acknowledge you, and if your fortune is strong, it can't do anything. But once your luck runs out, that's when it'll come after you. That's why, in Buddhism, if we need to cut down a tree, we are taught to perform a ritual or recite sutras 3 days beforehand, letting it know our intentions. We are not doing anything wrong, and we even offer our blessings, encouraging it to move elsewhere and find a new home. You can't chop down any tree now. Do the ritual 3 days before. You see, even these small details were taken so seriously in the past. But nowadays, people don't believe in this anymore. In the old days, when it came to burial grounds on hillsides, people were very respectful. Now, graves are just moved at will, and the land is taken over to build high-rises. People live in these buildings, and if they are lucky, their good fortune might last a few years. But once that luck runs out, those spirits and deities will come to cause trouble, making life unsettled for the residents and even leading to social unrest. If you make it so they can't have peace, they'll retaliate, and you won't have peace either. Natural disasters and man-made calamities don't just happen for no reason. For realms interconnected don't ignore. All sages said, treat others as you. You see, what Buddhism talks about isn't just people. When Buddhism says to us, it means people, heaven and earth, spirits and deities, everything is included. If we want to live a happy and fulfilling life, we should also remember that spirits and deities want happiness too, and even animals want their lives to be happy. How can we eat flesh of others? This sutra explains it very clearly. What kind of consequences do we face if we eat the flesh of living beings and harm them? Would we be willing to offer our own flesh for others to eat? It's the same principle, isn't it? We don't want others to eat us, and when it comes to animals, it's the same for them. They wouldn't want people to eat them either, would they? When we kill and eat them, do you think they are happy about it? People share feelings. Reasoning applies to all. So, when we eat the flesh of living beings, this resentment and hatred towards all sentient beings, as a result, will never disappear. If possible, they want revenge. Buddhist teachings say if you eat half a kilo of theirs, you owe them 400 grams. Life after life, beings keep devouring each other, and it never ends. The body we have now is a result of karmic retribution. There's nothing we can do about it. Without this kind of nourishment, we can't sustain our lives. To maintain life and eating food. So when it comes to eating, since it's something we can't avoid, you really need to understand that you should try to create fewer grudges with living beings and create less negative karma. Animals have life, and so do plants. It's wrong to eat animals, and it's also wrong to eat plants. But if you want to make a comparison, animals, in general, clearly have a much more pronounced and obvious sense of feeling and heightened awareness than plants. In other words, the desire for revenge in animals is many times stronger than in plants. So, if we can avoid harming beings with greater spiritual awareness, we shouldn't harm them. After all, plants have much weaker spiritual awareness, so if we really have no choice, we eat them. In the Vinaya Sutra, pure monks don't step on living grass. This truly shows compassion. If there's no path to walk, why not just avoid walking there? Why step on the grass? Unless, of course, unless there is no road here, you must pass through this side. That's only if you really have no other choice. If it's unavoidable, then it's understandable and can be forgiven. But if there's a path, you must walk around and not step on the grass. We should always cherish all forms of life, including plants, too. You should have a loving heart towards people and things. A heart that's truly loving and pure. So, when you eat, it's only because you have no other option. That's why what we are taught is pure selflessness. This is sometimes called a heart of gratitude. There is kindness between people, and there is kindness between people and all things. Every day we practice, recite the Buddha's name, and chant sutras. We stop doing bad deeds and cultivate good ones, dedicating all the merit to all living beings. Dawn. Look at this, how sincere this heart is. This person is not kind. Only then can you truly have faith that resonates. If we don't have this way of thinking, if we lack this sincerity, then every day we are just creating bad karma. If you truly understand this important principle and often take the time to contemplate and reflect in this way, you'll gradually come to see that these plants genuinely provide you with nourishment, they have great merit, and they truly support and sustain you, so you should sincerely repay them for their kindness and support. To repay them means not just taking for yourself. By giving back, you don't create resentment, but instead form a bond of kindness. Now, let's look at the next section of the sutra. There is a great hell called Extremely Endless, and another hell named Great Avsai. So, this is what Kitigaba Bodhisattva first introduces to us, clearly telling us that these do exist. They really do exist. What else exists? The realm of hungry ghosts also exists. It's not the same as the hell realm. They're not the same state of existence. In the realm of hungry ghosts, there's no sunlight or moonlight at all. Just like we mentioned earlier, they live in dim, gloomy places. In China, the ghost realm is what we call the underworld. There have been people who've been there. There are loads of accounts in Chinese notes and novels. These aren't just made-up stories. For example, what's written in Notes from the Jade Chamber and Strange Tales from a Chinese Studio. And what's described in the records of Continuing the Will, all of this, absolutely every bit of it, is real. It's not made up. I've been practicing Buddhism for so many years, and before I started, I'd never seen a ghost. But I have seen a fox spirit. Honestly, it's true. I saw it with my own eyes. And actually, a lot of other people have seen them too. The fox spirit I saw was a bloke, not a woman. Yeah, it was a man, possibly older, wearing a long, flowing blue cotton robe. During what? A lot of people saw it, but not a single person could make out its face clearly. No one ever did. Its face was really blurry. You know, like when a fox is about to turn into a human, it takes 500 years, and maybe it hadn't quite reached 500 years yet, just a bit short. So it had a human shape, but the face wasn't very clear. I was in my teens then. When I was 16 or 17, I hunted and wanted to shoot it. But my mum stopped me and said, "Don't mess with it. If you do, you'll get in trouble." So it was my mum who held me back, even though I really wanted to go after it. That fox lived right upstairs from us. During the war, we were living in a barracks, and it was just upstairs. No one had been upstairs for decades, so a family of foxes lived up there. Everyone knew about it. Someone saw a fox worshipping the sun on the roof very early in the morning. We all lived together peacefully. It didn't bother anyone, and no one dared to mess with it either. Back then, we were just kids, pretty gutsy too, and always wanted to sneak upstairs for a look. But the adults wouldn't allow it. The stairs weren't even there. Honestly, it's true, not made up. And it really could turn into a human form. Some people saw it after taking just 3 steps. In this world, I believe it very much. I believe that the stories about ghosts, goblins, and foxes written in strange stories from a Chinese studio are true, not false, and not fabricated rumors. When the War of Resistance ended, something strange happened in my hometown. I know about it very clearly. My hometown, renowned for its high-quality rice, produces rice, and most of that rice is shipped out through Wuhu, where it's sold at the market. I had a relative who had a good harvest that year, so he loaded up a small sailing boat, a wind-powered boat, with a whole boatload of rice. They used those Hessian sacks, packed everything up one by one, and sent it off to Nanjing to sell. Then, when they were loading the boat, someone saw something looked just like a weasel, one after another, going up the gangplank. They saw it happen. After seeing that, a lot of people went onto the boat to look for it, but no matter how hard they searched, they couldn't find anything. Yeah, there really was nothing there. People figured maybe their eyes were playing tricks on them, so anyway, that whole boatload of rice was sent off to Nanjing. But when they got to Nanjing, the boatload was gone. The Hessian sacks were still there, looking exactly the same as before, but not a single grain of rice was left inside. So everyone realized it wasn't just their eyes playing tricks, something strange must have been at work. So, the people who saw that weasel figured it must have been up to mischief. No one knew how they defended it, but somehow it managed to make off with the whole boatload of rice. That relative of mine, he's a distant relative, surnamed Chen. Couldn't change it. After days in Nanjing, he went home. And when he got home, the rice was still sitting there in his warehouse, untouched. It was like playing a prank. He thought of every way it could have been brought back. I suppose they must have offended it. It punished them once, played a joke on them. I'm not making this up. I've personally experienced things like this, strange happenings with spirits and the supernatural. This all happened in Fuyang County. This all happened 50 years ago. So, we absolutely believe in this sort of thing. Some even say there's a great hell, but whether this great hell is under the heavens or somewhere else, we have no way to prove it, and we can't see it either. But it really does exist. If you create bad karma, that kind of situation will appear before you, and you'll have to endure the suffering that comes with it. In his commentary, Master Qinglian thoughtfully tells us that Avicii and Oabi, these two names are both mentioned in various Buddhist scriptures, but whether they actually refer to one single place or to two distinct places, no one has been able to say for sure from ancient times all the way up to now. Some masters say Avicii is Abi, they are the same. Others claim Avicii and Abi are two separate hells. But in any case, both of these hells, regardless of how they are described or understood in different traditions, are certainly places where people are believed to suffer retribution for the gravest and most serious of sins. That much, at the very least, is certain. So, what do the scriptures say about this? Here, it also gives examples from the scriptures. According to the Agama Sutras and the Contemplation of the Buddha Samadhi Sutra, which are both ancient Buddhist scriptures, they say that it is, in fact, only one. Avicii and Abi are one and the same. But in this sutra and the Shurangama Sutra, they're considered two separate ones. You see, there's the great hell called Avicii, or extreme Avicii, and then there's another hell called Great Earth, so that's two. So, whether it's one or two, both views are based on scriptural sources. That's why, from ancient times to now, all the great masters and patriarchs haven't been able to say for sure whether it's actually one or two. So, as we read this sutra, we'll go by what it says. Since this sutra says there are two, we'll treat them as two. both of them, the retribution suffered inside is extremely severe. And incredibly, truly painful and harsh. I haven't quite finished explaining this section yet. Alright, that's all for today. Let's continue with this tomorrow.
We begin to chant the sacred name, Amitabha Buddha, Amitabha Buddha, Amitabha Buddha. As we continue, let us focus our thoughts and offer our sincere homage, Amitabha Buddha, Amitabha Buddha, Amitabha Buddha. May the light and compassion of Amitabha Buddha fill our hearts. Amitabha Buddha.